Time travel isn't possible, so we can only wonder how some of the NFL's all-time greats from the previous decades would perform in today's modern football game. So, we're taking a look at that.
Coming back to the football, and then leaving everybody in his wake.
Ben, you about broke my thumb on that damn sack.
25 NFL icons who would be even bigger superstars if they played in today's league. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into it. Joe Montana. Before Tom Brady won 4 rings in the back half of his career, Montana was the consensus GOAT of quarterbacks. Montana won 4 Super Bowl championships and retired with 40,551 passing yards and 273 touchdowns. In today's NFL, he would have given Brady a real run for the GOAT status. Until Tommy Terrific arrived, no other QB could even come close to matching Montana's calmness and poise in big game situations. Jerry Rice. The NFL didn't start becoming a more pass-happy league until the late 90s and early 2000s, and yet Jerry Rice retired as the NFL's all-time leader in every meaningful receiving category. 1,549 catches, 22,895 receiving yards, and 197 touchdowns. Nobody has come close to challenging Rice's records either.
This is why Jerry Rice is the best in football today and maybe of all time.
Jerry Rice in his prime surely would have pushed for 2,000 receiving yards in today's NFL. Dan Marino. Dan the Man was the quarterback who made 5K passing yards cool before guys started doing it regularly in the 21st century. He became the first QB to hit the mark in the 1984 season, and nobody would do it again for 27 whole years. Marino led the NFL in passing yards 5 times during his career, playing in an era with Joe Montana, Dan Fouts, Brett Favre, John Elway, Troy Aikman, and Jim Kelly, by the way. He retired in 2000 as the career leader in passing yards and touchdowns. Deion Sanders. Regarded as the greatest cornerback, Primetime was a larger-than-life personality who excelled on the gridiron and on the baseball diamond. Sanders' dedication to his craft, world-class athleticism, and game-breaking speed would have made him an even greater shutdown corner in today's NFL. Just think about all the access he would have on game film with today's technology and analytics. It would be unfair. Brett Favre. Favre won 3 straight MVP awards from 1995 to 97 and retired in 2011 as the all-time passing yards and touchdowns leader. The gunslinger was fearless with his decision-making, rocket arm, and deadly accuracy. He didn't compile a lot of rushing yards, but Favre had great mobility to dance around and extend plays. Oh yeah, Favre would have had at least a couple of 5,000-yard seasons in today's NFL. Michael Irvin. Irvin's career numbers are especially impressive when you consider 2 things. 1, that he played second fiddle to all-time rushing leader Emmitt Smith in the Dallas Cowboys offense, and 2, he had to retire early after suffering a career-ending neck injury at the age of 33.
And they say he has very good hands in addition to being tough. Irvin makes the catch from Aikman.
Smith was the focal point, but Irvin was Troy Aikman's go-to guy in the passing game. He hit the 1,000-yard receiving mark in each of his 7 healthy NFL seasons. And consider that he averaged more receiving yards per game than Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, and Reggie White. With his imposing 6'2" and 207-pound frame, Irvin's physicality and contested catch abilities would have made him an even bigger shining star in today's NFL, especially if he didn't have to be a secondary weapon behind Smith. Charles Woodson. The Oakland Raiders and Green Bay Packers icon was renowned for his high football IQ, ball-hawking skills, and smart instincts. The 9-time Pro Bowler retired with 65 career interceptions, 183 pass breakups, 18 fumble recoveries, and 20 sacks.
Charles Woodson, his 9th of the season. He's got a big return on down the sideline.
Woodson wasn't just an elite shutdown defensive back and INT specialist. The man really brought the heat as an occasional pass rusher. You know how Kyle Hamilton does all of that for the Baltimore Ravens? Yeah, Woodson would be doing even more in today's NFL. Tony Gonzalez. Regarded by some as the greatest tight end of all time, the 14-time Pro Bowler spent much of his prime in a time where the NFL was only gradually transitioning towards a more pass-happy league. In his early years with the Kansas City Chiefs, it was still very much a run-heavy game. Consider that Gonzalez only had 4 1,000-yard seasons because, well, tight ends were rarely the focal point in the offense, at least compared to guys like Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce. Gonzalez also didn't really get to play with an elite quarterback until he joined Matt Ryan's Atlanta Falcons for his final 5 seasons. If he had started out in today's NFL and had an above-average signal caller, well, Gonzalez's production would be off the charts ridiculous. Marshall Faulk. Sometimes, it feels like people don't appreciate just how great Faulk really was. But we suppose that's life when you played on a historically good St. Louis Rams team featuring Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt. Not only was the 3-time Offensive Player of the Year and 2000 League MVP dangerous in the backfield, but he was equally as explosive as a pass catcher like Christian McCaffrey.
31-24, month to go. On the pitch, here is Marshall Faulk with the burners, and he gets the first.
Faulk finished with over 400 receiving yards in 9 of his 12 NFL seasons. In 1999, he became the second running back to record 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards in the same season. Not impressed? How about 4 seasons of 2,000 yards of offense?
Such a special team, 302 yards already. What a catch by Faulk and Warner.
Faulk's numbers in modern NFL would be even better than McCaffrey's. Just saying. Ronnie Lott. By far the best safety in NFL history, Lott struck fear into the hearts of opposing receivers with his bone-crunching hits, but that was only a fraction of Lott's special talents. The 10-time Pro Bowler was a certified ball-hawking specialist with 63 career interceptions, 5 pick-sixes, and 16 fumble recoveries. Lott was regularly assigned to cornerback, where he would use his toughness and physicality to take away the opposition's top receivers. With his physicality and football smarts, we have no doubt that Lott's talents would have transitioned over smoothly to today's NFL. So if you're an active NFL wide receiver and you spot a DeLorean time machine in public, you should probably destroy it ASAP. You know, before prime Ronnie Lott travels to the 21st century and makes your life a living hell. Terrell Davis. Man, just how special was Davis? How about the fact that he's in the Hall of Fame despite only 4 healthy NFL seasons? That's actually insane. The 2-time Super Bowl champion and Broncos icon rushed for 2,008 yards and 21 TDs in 1998, which was his last healthy season.
First down, Davis. First down and more. 15, 10, touchdown.
Health sciences, data, medication, and therapy have come along so much since Davis retired that, man, he would be way more durable and way more explosive in today's NFL. Kurt Warner. The 2-time league MVP and Super Bowl 34 champion would make easy work of opposing defenses in today's league, one that is dominated by the aerial assault.
And it's going to be a fade for Fitzgerald, who's going to go up and make.
It's hard to believe that Warner only had 3 seasons of 30-plus touchdowns, but man, he would easily throw for 40-plus in today's NFL, especially considering that opposing defenses are hardly allowed to touch QBs or receivers anymore. Anthony Munoz. Munoz was the NFL's best offensive lineman of the 80s, and he played in an era where it was much easier to get after the quarterback than it is today. So just imagine if this rock of a pass blocker got to protect elusive QBs like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes. Adrian Peterson. Easily the best running back of his decade. Peterson put up all-world numbers despite being the opposing defense's priority every single game. I mean, seriously, think about it. 2009 Brett Favre was the only season of his career where Peterson played with an elite QB. If he played in today's NFL, prime AP would hopefully be paired with an elite quarterback, meaning there would be far more room for him to exploit opposing defenses. Mean Joe Green. An architect of the Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty that won 4 Super Bowls in the Steel Curtain era, the 10-time Pro Bowler played in an era where it was rush-heavy and difficult to get after the QB. Well, over 40 years after his final playing season, and we have not seen anyone like Green since his retirement. At 6'4" and 275 pounds, he was ultra scrappy, tough as nails, and impossible to block one-on-one. And you know, we just can't help but wonder what his sack totals would be like in today's NFL. Randall Cunningham. Long before Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, and Cam Newton, there was Randall Cunningham. The journeyman quarterback was effective from the pocket, yes, but he mostly got by with his potent rushing abilities. The four-time Pro Bowler had 4,928 career rushing yards and 35 touchdowns on the ground, especially impressive when you consider that he only spent half of his career as a full-time starting QB.
Cunningham stumbled going back to throw and going deep, and there it's Barnett, touchdown!
Oh, how fun it would be for Cunningham to play in today's NFL, getting the chance to challenge Jackson for the crown as the GOAT of dual-threat QBs. Terrell Owens. Impressive that Owens sits third all-time in receiving yards, considering, well, multiple factors. Such as playing second fiddle to Jerry Rice for most of his tenure with the 49ers. Owens made every quarterback around him just that much better. I mean, how did Jeff Garcia do once he and T.O. split up? Did Donovan McNabb ever reach a Super Bowl without Owens? Didn't the presence of Owens help Tony Romo become a star too? Look, just saying, playing in today's NFL with a top-tier QB would have made Owens even scarier, to a point where it may have been completely unfair. Randy Moss. Moss was on his way to the Hall of Fame before he joined Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in 2007. So, what did Moss do in his first year with the GOAT? Oh, just 98 catches for 1,493 yards and 23 receiving TDs, the most in a single season. So, point is, Moss would have put up historically good numbers in today's NFL.
Brady, a fake spike, throws to the end zone, touchdown, Randy Moss!
If he were assigned to an elite quarterback, which is actually something he only had for a few of his NFL seasons. Man, too bad him and Brady only had 2 full seasons together, huh? At 6'4" and 210 pounds, to go along with lightning-quick speed, Moss just couldn't be handled one-on-one. Just imagine if he had someone like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, or Josh Allen throwing the ball to him today. Oof, multiple 2,000-yard seasons, easily. Reggie White. Only Bruce Smith's 200 career sacks top Reggie White's total of 198. But here's the catch. Smith played 47 more games. So, hey, make of that as you will. The Ministry of Defense was truly a freak of nature. 6'5", 291 pounds. Your strength, speed, and athleticism. All the tools that made him unblockable and nightmare fuel for opposing offensive linemen and QBs. White was once a once-in-a-lifetime talent. 198 QB takedowns in 232 games is the most impressive sack rate you will ever see. Do some of you think that today's offensive linemen could block the late Reggie White in today's NFL? No, not a chance. Well, maybe with a triple team, but that's a strong maybe. Peyton Manning. Manning wasn't super athletic and could hardly run, but it was his football smarts and ability to read the defense that set him apart from other QBs. He didn't have the best arm, but he just knew where to place the ball for his receiver to make a play. The 5-time MVP makes this list because the NFL is even more pass-heavy today than it was during his career, which spanned from 1998 to 2015. Today's NFL rules are all offense-friendly. I mean, you can barely touch a QB or breathe on a receiver. Sure, he wouldn't be as flashy as today's top QBs, but still, the sheriff would use the NFL's modern rules to his advantage and rip opposing defenses to shreds. Eric Dickerson. Dickerson set the record for rushing yards in a single season with 2,105 back in 1984. Over 4 decades later, that record still stands. In 7 of his 11 NFL seasons, Dickerson rushed for over 1,200 yards. His 90.8 rushing yards per game are the 4th best mark ever, too. Dickerson would be much better in today's NFL, especially considering how much opposing defenses would have to respect the passing game and leave holes open for him to exploit. Lawrence Taylor. A popular pick as the greatest defensive player of all time, LT led the New York Giants to 2 Super Bowl championships in his Hall of Fame career. Just how far was he ahead of his time? Well, folks, Taylor was telling Bill Belichick of all guys what the Giants should be doing on defense during the latter's tenure as their defensive coordinator. The 6'3", 237-pound menace was virtually unblockable off the edge, racking up 142 sacks in 184 NFL games. If a time machine could bring him into the NFL today, well, he'd easily hit 200 career sacks. John Elway. A pinpoint, accurate passer, Elway was especially imposing because of his legs and ability to bowl over defenders. Elway racked up 3,407 rushing yards and 33 TDs in his career, and that's to say nothing of his deadly delivery from the pocket. As most of today's starting QBs boast good mobility and speed to extend plays, there is no question that Elway would easily pick apart opposing defenses in today's NFL. Barry Sanders. Sanders rushed for over 1,100 yards in each of his 10 NFL seasons. Before Emmitt Smith broke the record, the Detroit Lions icon would have retired as the NFL's career rushing leader if he didn't unexpectedly retire after his age 30 season. Sanders' unique build at 5'8" and 203 pounds made him remarkably shifty and elusive. His blazing speed allowed him to rip off a big run at any given moment. He would be the league's best running back in today's game and would have easily delivered a Super Bowl to Dan Campbell's squad by now. Steve Young. From 1991 to 97, the 49ers great won 2 MVP awards, a Super Bowl title, led the leagues in passing TDs 4 times, and in passer rating 6 times, plus boasted the best completion percentage 5 times. Oh, and that's right, he retired with 4,239 rushing yards and 43 touchdowns.
Next Sunday, it's 3rd and 13 at the 15 after the timeout. Young throws, Jerry Rice.
Again, the NFL was hardly a pass-happy league at the time. In today's NFL, he'd be a combination of Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen all in one. But hey, which other NFL legends would have been even better in today's league? Let us know in the comments section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.